Hey, welcome back to Kult of Athena's YouTube channel. I'm Tom. Today we're looking at the Legacy Arms Knight's Riding Sword. This is a short sword that packs quite a punch. Let's do some specs and a closer look at this blade. Before we get into specs of the blade, make sure to hit the like button, hit the thumbs up button, and share this video with your friends, those that are fellow sword collectors, sword enthusiasts, looking to add something to your collection. Make sure to support the channel. Okay, out of the gate, this is a exceptionally shorter blade. A lot of Southeast Asian martial arts, you're gonna see blades that are this short. They're sometimes referred to as bolos. This one is different, which I found really interesting. Not only is this a reproduction of a sword that was found around 13th, 14th century, according to Legacy Arms and the research that I did on it, even the guard itself is exactly the same. So this is clearly something that's gonna be used for cuts, for larger cuts, and also for thrust, clearly being used more in a close quarters, tight type of environment. Maybe you had a pole arm, that thing broke, this thing came out, and it's clearly very maneuverable. All right, overall length, 28 5/8 inches, all the way from the tip to the tail. The pommel is peened, so you get to see the peen marks on there, as you'll see when we get into the up close looks. Wood cord, leather wrapped handle, and a little bit longer of a handle. You can see that I can go a little bit further down if I chose to in more of a saber grip. And of course, I've got a hammer grip. This is gonna be more of an arming sword type of handle, meaning that you're gonna have a thicker handle toward the middle finger and the ring finger, and it's going to taper down to being tapered down toward the pommel. So you're gonna have that kind of balance out with the pommel. So 28 5/8, 21 inch, 5160 high carbon steel blade that's sharp. This is totally ready to go when it comes to cut testing. Make sure you're cutting tatami mats and water bottles and things like that, and you have proper training for that type of stuff. This one is exceptionally shorter than what you would see in other arming swords that I've reviewed. Even the knightly riding sword from Arms and Armor I've reviewed, and I've trained with that when I used to work at the warehouse in Kult of Athena. That one's really great. This one is exceptionally shorter. So this really comes down to customizing what sword to what person. So clearly this is highly specific. Maybe if a polearm broke, this came out, and now you're ready to go with this knight's riding sword. Some features that I like on this one are the guard. This is clearly with the intention of if there's a bind of some sorts, so that their blade is getting caught, and then you can insert the thrust, whether that be on the forehand or on the backhand side. Either way, it's swept up nicely. The point of balance is quite interesting on this one. It's a 1 7/8 inches point of balance. You heard that right. 1 7/8 inches from the guard. So this is interesting because I picked it up and I'm like, whoa, this is like a lot different than what I'm used to, which is like usually a 3-finger distance from the guard. What makes this interesting is that it's easier to stabilize the tip on the thrusting. So if you have something that's pulled back, it takes a little bit less effort for you to stabilize the tip. Like my hand isn't even closed right now. I'm not squeezing my grip, but the tip is staying really, really solid. So it's gonna help with the counterbalance of having that point of balance pulled closer towards the guard. Quick note on this as well, this is a sharp edge, so if you're doing cut testing with this one, don't have to get it sharpened at all. The Legacy Arms edge that comes from the factory it's sharp, so you don't need to have this be hair shaving sharp. Make sure you have proper training when you are doing types of cut testing. You're doing that in a safe environment at your own discretion. But use tatami mats, use water bottles with an edge like this out of the factory, should be good to go. Like I said before, the handle's a little bit longer, specifically 5 5/8 inches of handle length, with that tapered handle going from thicker to more skinny toward the pommel. This is a little bit over 2 pounds, so it packs quite a punch. If you've ever picked up a knightly riding sword or just a arming sword in general, think about how that feels in hand. They're more robust. They are, pun intended, get straight to the point on thrusting and also on cuts, whether those be larger cuts or whether they be more halves or more direct thrust. Either way, so it's just a more compressed version of that. Do you have as much range with it? No. But you do have a lot of stability in the tip from the point of balance being pulled back, especially for thrust. And it's an overall solid feeling blade. Okay, let's take a moment here to take a look at some up close looks at this one in the scabbard and out of the scabbard. Okay, here we go. So we've got the 5160 high carbon steel blade. You can see there's a cross section toward the last, like 6 to 7 inches toward the tip. That goes into a fuller to remove some excess weight, which is helpful for this being over 2 pounds. And then we take a look at the handle itself, swept up on both sides to protect the hand, 5 5/8 inches on the guard of that wood cord leather bound handle, and then that peened pommel as well. Okay, here's a more broad look at it. Again, overall length is 28 5/8. Blade length itself of the double-edged 5160 high carbon steel sword is 21 inches. So it packs quite a punch. It's a robust, short knight sword that's modeled after an actual knight sword that was used. So it's not just a made-up design, it's an actual blade that was used around 13th, 14th century. Thanks for joining me for this review of the Knight's Riding Sword from Legacy Arms. To pick this one up, click the link in the description below this video to buy this one today at kultofathena.com. If you have questions on this one as well, comment below what you want to see on the channel. I read all the comments and I try to respond to as many as I can. As always, subscribe to the channel, like this video, and I'll see you in the next one.